Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate?
Yes!
Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need, get over the fear, and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with Podcast 57. Today, we're back to the 5 investor questions that were sent in. And remember, if you want your question answered, send it to support@bsffacademy.com. One more time, support@bsffacademy.com. Here we go. Question number 1. Oh my goodness, it's a long question. You discussed the importance of having a primary equity list. You also mentioned that most sublists should be on your primary list as well, or it wouldn't make sense to send the marketing to them. I went to ListSource and ran my primary list, about 33,500 properties, all in the county of Washington State. Now I would love to have enough cash to blow $23,000 to obtain this list, but I don't. Is there a way to pull the entire list for less money? Is it worth getting this list so I make sure my marketing dollars are being spent wisely, or is there a better way around this? How important is this to have this entire list? Could my title company pull the same information? Well, first of all, if you're going to pay $23,000 for a 33,000 property list, you're paying way too much. You should be paying less than 10 cents a piece for those. So $33,500 should only cost you about $3,350. For $3,350, it's a fantastic list. Think about it, folks. If you had a list of every home in your area that had equity, irrespective of when they bought it, wouldn't that be a killer list? And then when you have all your sub lists, so you get your divorcee list, you get your probate list, you get your expired list, your for sale by owner list, your code violation list, you get all your other sub lists, and you cross-check to see who on your sub list is also on your equity list, and you go market to those people. Oh my goodness, imagine for a second you had an expired listing. That's a listing that the realtor couldn't sell, so it went off the market. The seller still wants to sell. Their address is both expired and equity. Man, all I would do is get in my Bentley, drive over there, and buy the darn house. I wouldn't even send them a letter. They want to sell, they can sell. A for sale by owner who puts an ad out in the newspaper that please come by my house, and they're on your equity list. My goodness, what a great list that would be. Your title company cannot supply that list to you without charging you because of RESPA. So part of that is they can supply you with a list of all the houses in the city, but they can't tell you which ones have equity. So that list would be a useless list. By the way, that was a great question, but man, your supplier on your list is charging you way too much, 10 cents. You call me, I'll charge you 10 cents. Question number 2. When putting a property under contract with the intent to hotel, do you use a trust? No. So, no, can't answer that one any other way. I just use my corporation, Sub-S Corporation, because I know that's the company I'm going to flip in. If I'm going to buy and hold, then I'll put it under a different entity because you can't have dealer status, which is flipping, and passive status, which is holding on as a rental, future income kind of stuff. And you can't have those simultaneously inside the same entity because it won't work from a tax advantage. I do use trusts every once in a while, but it's not to do anything like that. But great question. Now, question number 3. When giving the seller presentation in person, how should an investor handle a situation in which the seller's house is a complete mess? Should the investor acknowledge the mess and act like it doesn't matter, or disregard it and act like it isn't there? Well, we absolutely want to point out ugly. You know, we're not being nice when we're buying houses. Man, if it's an ugly house, it's an ugly house. It's just like I always say. People know when they have an ugly baby. I mean, everybody knows it, but no one tells them you got an ugly baby there kind of stuff. Well, you know, it's an ugly house. Tell them it's an ugly house, but don't worry about it. I'm going to take your ugly house and I'm going to make it pretty again. That's what I do. In fact, one of the nice things about my program when you sell me your house today is you can leave behind any of those things that you don't want to take with you. And any of those things that I believe will be beneficial to somebody else, we're going to go donate to our local church. The rest of it, we're going to haul over to the dump. So you can absolutely just take what you want, leave behind what you don't want. Don't worry about cleaning your ugly up. We'll take care of it. Man, we got to be a benefit to people, but we can't be hiding around and going, man, should I tell them that, No, tell them. They know it anyway. Heck, This one lady, she met me at her house. She said, Mike, I got to tell you, my house is we haven't cleaned it in a while. Well, they hadn't cleaned it I don't know what her definition of a while was, but it was a long time. When a house is so dirty that they have to go buy more pots and pans so they could cook, and the ones they cooked with before, they're just stacked on the floor full of old food and crusty stuff. That's when you have a dirty habit. But it's okay. I mean, we buy houses like that. We just tell them that we're going to solve the problem. Don't worry about it. That's one of the things that makes us uniquely beneficial to a seller. Man, a realtor, they go in there and they go, man, I can't list this house because it's ugly. And they'll actually tell them, you have to clean your house. You have to take stuff out of it, declutter it. To a person who likes clutter, and you know what I'm talking about. Everybody has a family member that has more clutter in their house than they should. Tell someone who likes clutter to take the clutter out of your house. They'll look at you with guns in their eyeballs and want to shoot you kind of stuff. But we got to set them free. Go, hey, it doesn't matter to me. Leave what you want to leave. Take what you want to take. When I buy your house today, I'll take care of the problem.
Thanks for listening to Buy, Sell, Fix, Flip. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through Yellow Letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. Do you have advice for those days when you just don't feel like talking to anyone on the phone? I do. Go on vacation that day. Don't get out of bed that day. Enjoy life that day. Some days we have to understand that we're going to just be in those moods. It's okay. Life is like that. That's why we have abundant of days. Man, if you have a bad day, you have a bad day. Now, all my coaching students know that I talk heavily about affirmations and carrying around your 10 affirmations and to pump yourself up. But sometimes you just don't want to be pumped up. You want to snuggle in bed. You want to stay in bed. You just want to Cheetos, turn the TV on. Just have a chill day. Have a chill day, okay? Then tomorrow, stop feeling sorry for yourself and go to work. So keep it for a day, but the next day, stop feeling sorry for yourself and go to work. It's as easy as that. But enjoy yourself. Everybody has to have a bad day. Everybody has to have a chill day. We're not super people here. Not all of us anyway. Question number 5. Who holds title in a subject to purchase? The person buying the house? Just because you're buying a house and leaving the voluntary and involuntary liens in place doesn't mean that you don't have title to the property. So what's a voluntary lien? Those are things like mortgages and loans and things that you voluntarily agreed to place against the property. Involuntary liens are things like personal liens against yourself, like taxes and child support, mechanics liens, those kinds of things. When you buy something subject to, you can buy it subject to all of the voluntary and involuntary liens that show up on the preliminary title report. The title and closing company, they're just going to give you a statement saying that you're acknowledging that those things are not going to be extinguished when you purchase your property. That's all it is. And then those items come off of the seller's net sheet. So you're not paying any more for the property. You're just going to keep them in place. So when you sell the property, you at that point have to decide, do I want to sell it and leave those things in place and have my buyer now become responsible for those? Personally, I wouldn't do that, but you could do that legally. When I sell something and I have voluntary and involuntary liens that I had left on because I purchased subject to, I would extinguish those at sale. So when I buy them, I'm going to leave them there. When I sell, I'm going to get them all paid off. They're going to come off of my proceeds. And it's the fastest and easiest way to get a house sold. Oh my goodness, the house doesn't have to qualify to a new lender. It doesn't have to go through all this appraisal processes. I mean, it doesn't have to have repairs. It doesn't have to have anything. Man, all I'm doing is I'm leaving the existing loan in place. And my goodness, people, why do we pay loans off? Let them ride. Okay, so yeah, I understand everybody on the call here go, Mike, but they got to due on sale. Absolutely they do. It's paragraph 17 where the lender has the right. It says the lender may accelerate the due on sale clause upon transfer of title. As many sub-twos as I've done, I have yet to ever have someone accelerate the due on sale on a transfer of title. So what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Worst thing that's going to happen. So I'm buying a house subject to the existing loans. I leave all that stuff on the property, against the properties. Leave it there. Don't pay it off. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I get a letter from the lender saying, hey, you have 30 days to pay us off. Or we're going to start foreclosure proceedings. Who cares? Because I'm buying the property at enough skin in the game that I'm buying it 60, 70 cents on the dollar. The worst case scenario, I'll go down to a hard money lender and say, Mr. Hard Money Lender, I need to pay off this other lender over here because I bought a subject to. Okay, we'll loan you that money. Or you just sell it on the open market, 30 days, price it right, get it sold. It's no big deal. In my case, I just take money out of my bank account, pay it off. But there are all kinds of ways you can extinguish that sub-2. Don't worry about it. Now, here's the deal. I don't believe, and again, I'm going to say it one more time, I don't believe that when you sell something that has a subject to existing mortgage on it, that you should pass that to somebody else, because I think it's a moral and ethical situation when you promise that you're going to make sure that a loan gets paid, because that's a promise we make the seller when we buy their house subject to, and then we relinquish that promise to somebody else who never made that promise. And then we become outside of the picture, and we don't know if that new buyer is actually doing what we promised we would do. So I think it's a moral and ethical issue, and at that point, that's why I paid off. But great questions today, guys. Really good questions. And the person who needs a $33,500 property list, let me know. I'll get you that property list, 10 cents on the name. I really enjoying this, guys. I really do get a kick out of all this stuff. I just want you to know that. And I got to say thank you to a couple people who went on to iTunes and gave me some ratings, gave me some 5 stars. Man, I just think that's so cool. And wrote some stuff about our program. If you're so inclined and you feel like, we're doing a good job for you guys and you want to, let us know. Let iTunes know. Let everybody else know that we got a program here that's worth listening to. And until next time, talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.